everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a reading vlog for the Backlist Readathon, and I'm very excited to be participating in this as I have so many books on my TBR that I need to get to, and this is a good excuse to get to some of the older ones, of course. So I did start this last week already, but I'll be able to finish it. I have less than 100 pages, or just 100 pages. There's 462 pages and I'm on 361. So I have 101 pages to read. So I'll be able to finish this tonight and then get to my other books. So I'm so excited about that. My stack is in the other room. So I picked out a book for every prompt, and I doubt I'll get to all of them, but I'm hoping to read at least 2 books. A couple of them are a little bit bigger, but there is the shortest book on the TBR prompt, so I have that, which I'll probably read. It's a non-fiction, I believe, so I'll be able to read that, and then a fiction book as well, and knock at least 2 books off the TBR, as well as this Karen Slaughter one, so I'm very excited. This book has been really good, really intense. I can see why people like her. It is very graphic. Her descriptions of the suicide and or murder scenes, yeah, it's very graphic, and I can understand why some people would get squeamish and not want to read it. But despite that, I am still enjoying the book, and I have no idea who's the bad guy. So that's good. So today is Monday, March 9th, and it's day 1 of the backlist. So I will update. I'll do another little video and do an update of what my TBR looks like and what I'm planning to read this week.
Pulls up behind me, tugs on my ponytail. I was running late to meet you, Your Highness. I didn't have time to put my socks on.
So it is day 2 of the Backlist Readathon, and I went to bed last night. I was feeling sick last night, tried to eat supper, wasn't feeling good, and ended up going to bed at around 6 p.m. and staying in bed, and now it's like noon the next day. I finished reading Karen Slaughter, A Faint Cold Fear. It was really good. I gave it 5 stars. It kept me guessing pretty much to the very end who the killer was, and then there was even another twist at the very, very end. So I really liked it for my first Karen Slaughter, and I'm excited to read more. So I started this last week and finished that yesterday for the first day of the readathon. But since I was sick, I didn't pick up anything else new. But I got this Beauty to Die For, which my friend had a box of books they were getting rid of, and I think I took this out of that box. Anyways, it has blue on the cover and something sticky, probably a sticker. So it should be interesting. I'm not expecting like the next great read out of it. It's written by a supermodel, Kim, Alexis, and then Mindy Starrins Clark. who is best-selling author of the Smart Chick Mysteries. So I'm hoping it'll just be like a fun, light read, especially with me being sick. So happy day 2. It is Tuesday, March 10th. When you take a few minutes for your backlist reads and your son decides to climb out the back window that he decided he wanted to look for his sisters, climb up onto the roof, I can't even.
What? I can't hear you. Mommy, I can't.
You're gonna break my windshield. Get off of there.
Okay, bye. I can't hear you.
Me trying to read the last 10 pages of my book while the kids are on the computer doing, it's called Math Seeds. So it's singing songs like 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. Very distracting. Happy day 4 of Backlist Readathon. I'm almost done this, and then I have my shortest book that I am reading, which is nonfiction Christian, Glory in the Ordinary. So it's about finding, I think I just started it a couple days ago, but haven't gotten that far into it. My dog is licking something plastic. But Glory in the Ordinary, it's about like finding purpose in being basically a stay-at-home mom or housewife or whatever. I don't think it's meant to be like, oh, that's God's calling on your life and that's what women should do. I think it's just for women who choose to do that or that feel that that is God's calling on their life. How that work can sometimes feel really meaningless and difficult or boring or repetitive, and it feels like you're not contributing to the world and you could be doing so much more out like in the workforce, but how it really is important and it is a calling, and we are, who knows what my dog's getting into, how it is important work, and you're raising your kids that will also go out and do work out in the world and possibly raise kids of their own. So, but I haven't gotten that far into it, but they're just talking about, it's starting with like feminism and how it's gone from everyone used to work in the home because we lived in a culture where the men were typically out in the fields, but it was still home, but they were out in the fields doing work, and the women were helping with that work as well, you know, like dealing with the livestock or gardening or actually working in the home, baking bread and stuff. And now things have changed with we can buy bread from the grocery store. We have a washing machine, a dryer, dishwasher, vacuum cleaners, things like that. So the work that needs to be done around the home is done much quicker now. And how things have changed from everyone worked in the home to the Industrial Revolution, where men were found working in factories and outside the home, and women found their work more inside the home. And now how we've moved to more women in the workforce. That hasn't really talked about men staying home yet, but that could still happen. That's interesting so far, but I'm still on like chapter 1 of that, and I'm just trying to finish this while that music happens in the background. So anyways, I am distracted and rambling, so I'll update later when it's a little bit quieter. So today is March 18th, and we are kind of in quarantine. I don't know. We're kind of in the global quarantine, not because we're sick and we need to stay away from people. So that's good. And my husband is actually going tomorrow to do, not really traveling, but he's going south a few hours from here to have some time with friends for his birthday. So I'm doing my videos now while I can because the kids are out of school indefinitely. Yay! So anyways, I did the I keep wanting to say black. I don't know why. The Blacklist. That's what we need. We just read books with the title black in the cover, in the title. The word black in the cover, or black. I can't talk. The word black in the title or black on the cover. The Backlist Readathon. That's apparently what I need. Anyway, I read the Backlist Readathon books, so I was just gonna, I want to do, my vlogs are really long and I'm a new content creator, and I know you want to keep videos like maybe at a max 15 minutes, and my short videos are 20, so I want to keep this as short as possible. So I did a little bit of filming through the week of what I was reading, and now I'm going to kind of do the wrap up and also show you what my TBR was. I know most people put that in the beginning, but I'm doing that at the end. Anyway, I bought some Karen Slaughter books a few months ago at my library, and so I was going to pick one of those to start the readathon, but I started with, I have a buddy read that I got from back in February. There was another channel that was doing the Valentines, and you give a gift, and then there was, you could sign up for the gift giving, like Secret Santa or the buddy read and buddy read roulette, and I did both. So I have a buddy read now, and we decided we both liked the book that we read the first time, which the one we did was I'll Never Die by Mary something, and it was really good, and it was like a thriller, and I liked that. So this month she emailed me and said, what do you want to read? And I said, this is what's on my list for the Backlist Readathon. And so she picked the Karen Slaughter, A Faint Cold Fear. So for me, I was going to start it on the Monday, March 9th for the readathon, but we started it actually the week prior to that. And I was like, well, I'm never going to get through. There were 6 prompts, and I can't read 6 books in a week. I just can't do that. So I started this, and then I just posted my International Women's Day short 20-minute vlog that I did about books that I didn't even get close to finish reading, but that I started reading for Women's Day, and I'm now reading now that the readathon is done. But I finished, so I started this that week before the readathon, put it away between like Saturday and Sunday of Women's Day, so like the 7th and 8th of March. And then I finished the Karen Slaughter book for the first day of the readathon, which was March 9th. And I really, really liked this book. It was really intense. I've heard a lot of people talk about the new Karen Slaughter ones, like Pieces of Her, I think, or The Good Daughter, things like that. And some people are like, it's pretty graphic, and I would agree, it is very graphic, and there's a lot of gruesome detail, but beyond that, like, if you can get past that part of it, I really like it. And I didn't know who the killer was until like 2 sentences before it was revealed. I was reading, and then I put it down for a minute, and then I was like, that's who it is, and then it was revealed, and I was right. So I did technically guess the reveal before it happened, but it was like right at the reveal that I guessed it. So that was good, and I really enjoyed it. And despite it being fairly thick, it's over 400 pages. 464 pages. So despite being fairly thick, it is just a small one though. It was a pretty quick read, and I really enjoyed that. So I finished this for the first day of the readathon, and I'm trying to think of what prompt this would have been under. It could have been loosely based under read a book that was recommended by a friend, because Karen Slaughter has been recommended by BookTube, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the other books I read, I picked up my shortest book in my TBR, which was Glory in the Ordinary, Why Your Work in the Home Matters to God by Courtney Reisig. And it was 130, I think 42 pages. And it was talking about, 142. And it was actually my most difficult read. So it's not even 150 pages, and I had just a really hard time. I don't know, it wasn't as fast of a read as I thought it would be. And it wasn't a bad book, but I found it was kind of repetitive. And it's talking about basically homemakers. And she had some really interesting thoughts about
how back in the day, like before maybe the 60s, 70s, women were seen as homemakers or like a housewife kind of thing, and our focus was in the home. And now people who choose to stay home are considered stay-at-home moms. They're no longer the housewife or the homemaker, and so our focus in the home has shifted from the home to our children. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but now we see the home and the work inside the home as, well, it's a chore. And that's what we call it. We call it chores, right? But how we do need to, whether our focus is on our kids or what, or if we work from home or whatever, or we work outside the home, no matter what our situation is in life, there's still housework that needs to get done. If you're a single man or woman, or if you're a single person out there, then you're living alone, you still have housework you need to do. You still need to buy food. Even if you're getting takeout all the time, you still need to buy food and eat that food. There's still garbage that needs to get thrown out. There's still, just basic cleaning that needs to get done. Dishes, laundry, whatever. And if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, parent, if you work outside the home and have kids, like both spouses or people with adults in the home, and you work outside the house, there's still work that needs to be done in the home. And especially when you have kids, we need to teach them how to take care of the home. And this didn't talk about chores and if you pay your kids like an allowance for doing chores or not. It touched on it briefly, and it was like this person in a different book talks about this here. But basically, our kids need to learn how to do chores without getting paid to do them, because I don't get paid to wash the dishes or do the laundry, even though you could see that as my quote-unquote job, because I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't get paid to do that stuff. And whether I worked outside the home or not, it still needs to get done. My husband still helps with housework, even though he does work outside the home. He will help with stuff. He knows how to do laundry and dishes and stuff like that, and he does help when he can. So the kids need to learn these basic life skills. So the book was good, but I found it really repetitive and just kept talking over and over and over again about why the work inside the home is important, and just kind of saying it in different ways, reiterating it. So it was okay, but I liked it, but it wasn't an easy read. I don't know why. I guess I just found it really repetitive. Another book I read was Beauty to Die For by a former supermodel, Kim Alexis and Mindy Starnes-Clark. This also covers the prompt for blue on the cover, or the recommendation from a friend. This is a Christian nonfiction novel, which I was not aware of going into it. Which Christian fiction, not nonfiction, Christian fiction is kind of hit or miss with how good it can be. I find sometimes it can be, I don't mind things that are cheesy, but sometimes it can just be a little too, depending what you want to read, it can be a little too lighthearted for the subject matter. Like there's two supermodels that go to the spa for different reasons, and one of them ends up dying. And nobody likes her. She's not like a good person. She's not somebody people like. But then the other supermodel obviously is worried about it, but it's her and this long lost, the one who got away love interest shows up in her life again and all this stuff, and they go and do this whole detective thing to find out who killed her, because they didn't know if it was an accident or suspicious. Things like that. But it wasn't bad. I think I gave it a 3. And I do like Christian elements, or if they're like, we need to pray about this or whatever. I don't mind that stuff, but sometimes it can be a little lighthearted for the subject matter, like I said. Good ones are Frank Peretti or Ted Dekker for more of the thriller, suspense. And they do have more of a hidden Christian message, I guess. It's not right in your face. This one, I found the main character a little... You get a couple different perspectives, but the main character, the supermodel that you're following, she was a little slow. like at the very beginning of the book, the two supermodels kind of clash at the airport as they're heading towards this spa. And the one supermodel says something to the other one, and then the main character, she's like, I don't understand why she said that. And through like most of the book, they're trying to figure out why she gave she gave her a death threat, and then she ends up dying. The one who issued the death threat dies. But you're like, why'd she say that? Why'd she say that? And like, as soon as she said it, I was like, she's there for a movie role. It's that simple. And they don't figure that out until like here in the book, and I'm like, really? You're not that slow. Come on. And there's just some things that I as the reader picked up on right away that our main character did not get, and they were pretty easy, so I was kind of like, okay, it just annoyed me, I guess, but it was a light-hearted read anyways. And then I read The Dressmaker of Carcana, something like that. I ended up getting the audiobook for this and for Glory and the Ordinary in order to be able to finish them on time, and I managed to get everything finished by Sunday night, so that was very exciting. The audiobook I was listening to throughout the whole week was Unravel. I'm reading the Shatter Me series, so it's like Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and then I think that was it. And then this was the third one. Anyway, so I finished that, and then I got Glory and the Ordinary and this Dressmaker one on audio. So I went back and forth between reading it and listening to it. This was the prompt for a diverse book. So this takes place, I believe, in Afghanistan. And it's a true story. And this girl, Gail Lamon, travels to Afghanistan and then writes a story about these 5 sisters, one remarkable family, and the woman who risked everything to keep them safe. So like the Taliban has moved into their area, into their town, and they have to start wearing the full chardi, I think they call it, which is like the burqa or whatever, like that we see, where all the women have is like a tiny little slit where they can look out of. That's even, would they say it was like, I think it's like looking through a screen kind of thing. They went from just having to wear like the headscarf and very more westernized clothing, and then the Taliban came in and stuff, and so they had to like be fully covered head to toe. It starts with her, the main character, Camilla, and she's in school and she wants to become a teacher, I think. But the family has 11 children, 9 daughters and 2 sons. And the father's very much, the girls in my family are gonna get an education. Her older sister's a teacher and all this stuff. But then the Taliban comes in, and now women can't go to work, they can't go to school, they can barely be outside without their escort, which is like a male relative. Things like that. So they're like, how are we going to make money? How are we going to support ourselves? There's still like 6 of them living at home. At this point, the dad has to leave the country or the area because he was working for the government on like the opposite team before, the opposite side of what the Taliban is doing. And he was in the army before that, but he's retired and he's too old to be like a resistance person. And they're like, no, he could get dragged away. So he goes for his safety and all this stuff. So she ends up becoming a dressmaker. Her sister and her mother are really good at like seamstress stuff, so they teach her how to do it. And there's the 5 sisters at home, so they're all learning how to do it. The one brother learns how to do it, doing seamstress stuff, and she like leaves the safety of her home with her younger brother as her escort, and they do gift shops around that are selling dresses, and they sell their clothing to them. So it's how these women like survive this whole Taliban lockdown situation, and it was really interesting. It was kind of confusing at times because I'm like, is this a true story, just like the reporter telling us the story, or has she made this true story fictionalized? It was kind of blurry that way. I had 3 other books. I picked 1 book for each prompt, so I have 7 books and there were 6 prompts. I did not get to these 3. So there's Nicholas Sparks' The Guardian. It's got blue on the cover. I did not get to that one yet. I do like Nicholas Sparks. I know he's a pretty easy read. I read him a lot more as a teenager, but I like them. They're kind of, I wouldn't say light and fluffy if you've watched like A Walk to Remember or The Notebook. I took my mom to go see The Notebook and she didn't know what it was about. And she's like bawling her eyes out in the theater and she's like, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm never going to the movies with you again. And I got to go to the movies with me again like 10 years later. Gillian Flynn, Dark Places. I don't remember what the prompt was for this. Could be, it doesn't really have blue on the cover. It's more greenish, teal color. Trying to remember. This was recommended by a friend, kinda. My friend hasn't read it, but he read Gone Girl, and we watched Gone Girl. And again, BookTube likes Gillian Flynn, so that might be a recommendation from a friend. I'm not sure. Anyways, and then the last one was The Time Traveler's Wife, which I've had on my TBR for a very long time and would be excited to read. So again, I just got it at the thrift store back in December, I think. Maybe, so it was like $2.99. But again, I did not get to it. So anyways, those are my closing thoughts on the blog and what I read. And this was a really good readathon, and we definitely need it like at least twice a year. And apparently a Black Reads readathon maybe in February, which could also include the word black in the title. Or maybe something like Dark Places, where it kind of makes you think of black. Black on the cover. Or maybe like black representation. Apparently. I'm not hosting any readathons at this time, but maybe that's something that can happen in February next year. Anyways, thank you for watching. Enjoy your quarantine. Get lots of reading done, and I'll see you next time. Bye!